Hello and welcome to ShowMeAcademy.com. In this tutorial, we're going to show you how to adjust the page breaks and the print area in Microsoft Excel 2007. I have a spreadsheet open in front of me here in Excel, and anytime you have a spreadsheet and you send it off to print, it's going to put as much as it can in a single page and then create page breaks naturally as it has to overflow from one page to the next. It will also by default take all the content in your spreadsheet and try to send it to the printer. But when you're doing that, you may not want to send all of the content to the printer. Maybe you want to print just a piece of the spreadsheet. In addition to that, you also might decide that there are more convenient places in the spreadsheet where it should manually stick a page break, and there are ways to control that here in Excel. We'll show you how. So first of all, here with this spreadsheet open in Excel, you'll notice I've already selected the Page Layout tab. By default, of course, you would be on the Home tab, and you want to go over to the Page Layout tab. And from here, you'll see we have this section here in the middle called Page Setup. And the two areas that we're going to concern ourselves with for this tutorial are the breaks and the print area. Now, first of all, just to give you a feel of what I'm talking about with regards to what happens when we send this to the printer, I'm going to go do a print preview. And the print preview will give me a graphical representation of what the page will look like when it's sent to the printer. And it's a little small and squished down, but you'll see here that it puts as much as it can in a single page, and then it overflows to a second page, and it even then creates these additional pages because there's content over to the right that's over here, that it can't fit into the page. So it ends up creating these secondary, tertiary pages that come in after the fact. So we're going to go and adjust that. I'm going to close the print preview window. And first of all, let's talk about page breaks. Now, again, it'll put as much content as it can on a single page, and then it will just overflow it into subsequent pages when you send it to the printer. But we want to control that. So let's say that I'm going to select this cell here, and we're going to put a page break here, so it breaks after this first section. And I'm going to click on the Breaks button. You see here it even pops up a little hint that says specify where a new page will begin in the printed copy. Page breaks are inserted above and to the left of the selection. In other words, I've selected this cell, and if I were to create a page break here, it will create a page break basically right above this cell. So I'm going to click Breaks, and when I do, a drop-down menu comes up, and from here I'm going to select Insert Page Break. Now what I'll also do is I'll scroll down a little further, and let's say we put one at the end of each one of these sections. So I'll insert another page break here, and I won't do them against all sections. I guess we'll just put in several here for the purposes of illustration. I'll put in one more here. So I once again click Breaks, Insert Page Break, and now essentially I've created 3 page breaks in the document. One here, one here, and one here. And to show you what that looks like, I'm going to go back to my print preview. And now you'll notice that there's all this white space here because we have told it that after you print this copy, then manually do a page break. And then we go to the second section, and there's another page break right there. And then to the third page, this is the third section where there's another page break. And then it will, after the fact, go in and try to put in whatever content was left over. So we'll close that now. And maybe I don't want it to break after this first section after all. So I'm going to go select the same cell again, and I'm going to click on Breaks. And this time I'm going to select Remove Page Break. When I do that, if I go, now remember we still have 2 page breaks that we added in the spreadsheet here and here. But we essentially created a larger section here by removing this page break. When I go look at my print preview, you'll see now that all this content here stays in the first section because we don't hit our first manual page break until we get to the end of this section. Then you go to the next page, we have the second section, and the next page we have the third section. Now what we can also do here is click on Breaks, and click on remove page break. Well, excuse me, we just did that. Click on reset all page breaks, and that essentially will remove all the page breaks that we've added. So now that I've reset all page breaks, if I go back and look at my print preview, you'll see our document looks as it did before we started the page break process. Now also notice that as I pointed out before, when you try to send this to the printer, there's content over here on the right that it can't fit. So what it does is it ends up creating these secondary pages down at the bottom where it's trying to display this overflow content. So we're going to manage some of that with the print area option. For example, let's just take this block of cells right here. Notice I've highlighted them by I click here with my left mouse button, and I hold the left mouse button down, and I scroll it up to here, and that selects this block of cells. And then I'm going to go to print area, and I'm going to click on set print area. And what that does now is, because that is the print area, that is the entire piece of the document that's going to print. Even though I have all this other content here in the spreadsheet, it's not going to print any of it because I've just defined this small block of cells as being the print area. And I'll illustrate that for you once again by going to the print preview. Notice now this is page 101 because this is all the content that it's going to print. That's the entire page area, or print area, excuse me. So you can have a spreadsheet with thousands of rows, but you might decide simply to send a very small section of it to the printer, and you can control that with the print area. Now maybe we want to have other sections in the print area as well. So I'll come down here, I'll select this, and I click on print area, and I'll click add to print area. So now we have two sections of content here and here, which will be in the print area. And just for good measure, I'll add a third. I'll go here and click on print area and add to print area. Now once I do this, I go look at my print preview again. You can see that it's going to treat each print area as its own page. So we have the first area we selected, see it's page 1 of 3. Then we go to the second area and the third area. And that allows us to pick and choose pieces out of the spreadsheet that we want to use to send to the printer. Now if you want to get rid of these print areas, that's very easy to do as well. I'm just going to click print area, and I'm going to click clear print area. And now when I do that, I'm basically back to the default. So when I click on print preview, it will be attempting to print the document in its native format. That concludes this tutorial, and thank you for using ShowMeAcademy.com.